Let's learn some advanced expressions, and this lesson is going to be extremely informative, to say the least. And let's start with that last expression, to say the least. So you would use this when you want to say that you could have expressed something in a much stronger and more detailed way. However, you chose not to elaborate and give more information. Something else I want to say about this expression is that typically you're going to use it at the end of a statement. Maybe you don't want to talk about something or give more information, or perhaps it's just not relevant. So if I say, the flight was a bumpy ride, to say the least. Somebody asked me, hey, how was your flight? And I don't want to give a lot of detail or really have to explain it, so I can use this expression to draw attention to bumpy flight without having to give those extra details. It was a bumpy flight, to say the least. Or I could use this expression when I don't want to be too critical and I don't want to be too rude, and I could say, yeah, dinner wasn't very good, to say the least. So once again, I'm drawing attention to the fact that the dinner wasn't that good, but I don't have to give extra information, because if I said the chicken was undercooked and I think I might get food poisoning, that could come off as being a little rude. So you could use this expression to really tamper down the level of criticism. When pronouncing this, there are two unstressed words that I'd like to point out. The first one is to. So when it's unstressed, it's going to sound weaker, and it'll sound like t with that schwa sound. The other unstressed word is the article the, and this is because it comes before a word that begins with a consonant sound. And I think the article is commonly pronounced with that schwa, the. So altogether, it's going to sound like to say the least. To say the least. Just listen for it.
Young master, how does it feel to walk on a new world?
Exciting, to say the least.
Has identified the atheist as Brian Griffin of Spooner Street. Here's the reaction from City Hall.
Shocking, to say the least.
Now, as we go through the lesson, I am going to tell you the meaning of each expression. I'll talk a little bit about how it's used, and I'll go over the pronunciation so that you can pronounce these different expressions just like a native speaker. And if you are someone who enjoys building your vocabulary, please subscribe, turn on notifications. That way I can become your teacher. My name is Wes. The channel is Interactive English. It's all about trying to help you reach your fluency goals. And I trust that you will subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, which is the next expression that I want to teach you. To give someone the benefit of the doubt. So this may be used in situations in which there's a lot of uncertainty, but you're going to believe someone or give that person a favorable judgment or opinion. So if you're really skeptical, you may still say, okay, I believe you, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. To help you better understand how this expression is used in context, I have some news headlines for you. Give Pope Francis the benefit of the doubt. I don't know what people are skeptical of, but the headline is saying, hey, just trust him, believe him. Progressives get benefit of the doubt when accusations of bullying fly. And the Supreme Court has lost benefit of the doubt. So with these last two headlines, I'd like to point out that verb that's being used. Overwhelmingly, you're going to use this with the verb give, to give someone the benefit of the doubt. However, you may use it with other verbs as well. For pronunciation, there are a couple of things that I want to talk about. The first is that final T in benefit. I am going to pronounce this as a flap T because I'm from the United States, and this is very common with the American accent. When the T comes between two vowel sounds, often I am going to say it as a flap T. It's going to sound more like a soft D. And then I can link that flap T with the beginning vowel sound in of. And linking commonly occurs when one word ends in a consonant sound and the next word begins with a vowel sound. So it's going to sound like benefit of. To give someone the benefit of the doubt. Now, if you were to tell me that you want to improve your pronunciation and practice speaking, well, I'll certainly give you the benefit of the doubt. And that's why I'd like to tell you about ELSA Speak, who is the sponsor of today's lesson. This is a great app to help you fine-tune your pronunciation and practice your speaking skills. But not only that, you can practice your conversation skills, and that's what I want to show you right now. So you download the app, and there are many ways to practice your pronunciation. But if you want to have a back and forth conversation, you can do that using ELSA AI.
Hi. Welcome to ELSA AI. Please select one of the following role plays.
As you can see, there are several different scenarios to choose from, but you can also create your own scenario, which is what we're going to do right now.
Sure. What kind of scenario would you like to create?
I want to have a conversation with a friend at a coffee shop, and I want to talk about possibly changing jobs and starting a new career.
Hey there, what's been going on with you lately?
Lately, I've been thinking about changing jobs and maybe starting a new career.
That's interesting. What sparked this desire for change?
Well, I just have a strong desire to do something that allows me to be more creative. So I'm thinking about becoming a content creator on YouTube.
Have you done any research on what it takes to become a successful content creator?
You know, I haven't really given it much thought. Do you have any ideas?
Yes, there are definitely some things you'll want to consider. For example, it's always good to have a clear focus on what kind of content you want to create and who your target audience is.
Wow, that sounds like some great advice, and I'm really going to think about it. But right now, I have to get going, so I'll talk to you later.
Keep me posted on how things go.
Role play completed. We are computing your feedback.
As you can see, you get a full assessment of your conversation with overall feedback as well as specific feedback when it comes to pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. And right now, when you click on the link in the description, you can sign up to get early access of the AI feature and start having a conversation in English. You can sign up for free without a paid membership and use ELSA AI for 3 scenarios a day. So check out that link below if you want to improve your pronunciation and practice speaking English. Let's get back to some more advanced expressions. And the next expression that I have for you is per se. This is a Latin term that means of or by itself. It's a little more formal, so it's not one that you're going to use all the time in just everyday conversation. But you can use this to emphasize the importance of other factors. Money, per se, does not make people truly happy. True happiness comes from the relationships that you build with others. So I'm saying money by itself, it doesn't make people truly happy, and I'm using per se to emphasize the importance of other factors. And that is why I follow it with the next sentence, because it helps complete the thought. This is not a criticism of the government per se. It's about holding people accountable. Once again, I'm using per se to emphasize the importance of other factors. I was born in the state of Alabama. It's not a famous state per se, but it does have some charming towns. Here are a couple of other examples to help make this easier to understand.
Upstairs from here, but under you. Not under you per se, but under your apartment.
No, meeting's not over.
But is there anything relevant to the sales staff here?
No sales topic per se.
Well, then no Andy Bernard, per se.
When pronouncing this expression, I just want to focus on that second word, say. Even though it's spelled S-E, you're going to pronounce it with that long A sound, say, per se. And then we have to top it all off. So this is used when you're describing several things that happened. But you'll use this expression to introduce the final thing that happened that made the situation either better or worse. There was no traffic on my way to work this morning, and it was a pretty easy day because a couple of meetings got canceled, and to top it all off, the boss said everyone can go home early. So in this case, I'm talking about a series of positive things. But in my opinion, I think most of the time this expression gets used when talking about negative things and describing a series of bad events. My alarm didn't go off this morning, so I was late for work. On my way to work, it started raining. I didn't have an umbrella, so I got soaked. And to top it all off, I gave a horrible presentation because I had forgotten my notes at home. It was not a good day. For pronunciation, once again, we're going to use that weak to, which is more like t, and then we can link the next 4 words together. top it all off. That final T in it, I am also going to pronounce it as a flap T. To top it all off. To top it all off. The next expression, at the end of the day. I really like this one, maybe because I feel like I use it quite often, but this means when everything is taken into consideration, and then you're going to say the most important thing about a situation. So this expression is an adverb phrase that it's very similar to saying ultimately, and typically you're going to use it at the beginning of a sentence or clause. So I could say, you can give me your opinion, but at the end of the day, I'm going to make the final decision. Or perhaps you're in a situation in which there are a lot of different choices, and it was a difficult decision to make, and perhaps the result was a good one. And you could say, at the end of the day, I made the right decision. When you pronounce this expression, I want you to keep in mind that the article the is both stressed and unstressed. It's stressed when it comes before the vowel sound in end, the end, and it's unstressed when it comes before the consonant sound in day, the day. There's also linking that may occur. We can link that final consonant sound in end with the beginning vowel sound in of, end of. So listen for those two things, the stressed and unstressed the, along with linking.
And then, just Richard and I, because at the end of the day, people only want to see a picture of the board members.
But at the end of the day, the fact that we show up for each other is reason enough to keep believing.
And then there's few and far between. This means not happening or existing very often. So if something is not happening very often, you could say something is few and far between. Here are some news headlines for you so you can see how this expression is used in context. Storms stay few and far between as summer heat continues. No shortage of ideas, but affordable housing options remain few and far between. Food inflation is easing, but price breaks are still few and far between. For pronunciation, the first thing that we're going to do is reduce and to just n, which is very common in spoken English, and then we're going to link that final consonant sound in few with that beginning vowel sound, and it's going to sound like fewen. Few and far between. Say it with me. Few and far between. Good. The next expression, be my guest. This is something you say when you give someone permission to do or use something. It seems pretty simple and straightforward. It's like you're saying, okay, no problem, go ahead.
You think I can have a sip of that?
Be my guest.
Can I use a magnetizing glass?
Magnifying, Bobby. Be my guest.
But to add one thing when it comes to usage, another time people would use this expression is when they're upset and they're really angry, and it's like they're saying, okay, fine, do it. And you can really hear the frustration.
You want to spend the rest of your life with your head up your ass? Be my guest.
Can I put Randy to bed, please?
You want to sleep here? Be my guest.
When pronouncing this expression, it's pretty simple and straightforward. You're just saying the three words, one right after the other. Be my guest. Be my guest. And then we have to give someone a run for their money. This means to not allow someone to win easily. So often you're going to use this expression in some sort of competitive situation, like a sport or a game. I also want you to keep in mind the grammar, because we have an object pronoun as well as an adjective pronoun. You are going to give me a run for my money. They're going to give us a run for our money. But people are not really going to pronounce it like that. I was really trying to emphasize those pronouns. So let's talk about pronunciation right now. And there are a few different things I want to tell you about, and some of it really depends on that object pronoun. No matter what, I think people are going to reduce the word for to fur. And I want you to listen for that. But if the object pronoun is me, we have give me, we can reduce that to gimme. Give me a run for my money.
But it looks like you're going to give me a run for my money.
Now, if someone is him, her, or them, in that case, elision may occur, which is when certain sounds or syllables get removed. So if we remove that first consonant sound of each word, we can then link the phrases together. Give him give 'em. Give her, give her. Give them, give 'em. Once again, just listen for it.
You're giving her a run for her money.
I'm at least going to give him a run for his money.
What do you say we give them a run for their money, huh?
So hopefully you can hear those three things, that weak fur, along with elision and linking. Then there's the expression sooner rather than later. And this is really an extension of the binomial pair, sooner or later, which means something is going to happen, but you're not exactly sure when. So with this expression, it can mean fairly soon. It's going to rain probably sooner rather than later, fairly soon. But it could also mean without too much delay. I want you to turn in the report. I need it sooner rather than later. So I need it without much delay.
You're gonna run out. My guess is sooner rather than later. Painful detox is inevitable.
No. Although I'll see you after. Right? Sooner rather than later, I hope.
It will work, and we need this to work sooner rather than later.
For pronunciation, there is some co-articulation, which refers to overlapping sounds. And in this case, I think it's pretty straightforward. That final R sound in sooner is going to overlap with the beginning R sound in rather. And it just allows us to make a very smooth transition from one word to the next. Sooner rather than later. Sooner rather than later. And then we have on the fence. This is another expression that I like, probably because I use it quite often, and it means not being able to decide something. And usually it's between two choices, but not always. So think about it. If you are on a fence, you may fall on this side or you may fall on the other. You're not really sure. So this also implies a difficult and tough decision, and it's often used with the verb to be on the fence. I don't know which job applicant to choose. I'm really on the fence. Sometimes I ask you to write to me in the comments. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Perhaps you're on the fence, and in that case, I would encourage you to write to me because, yeah, I love hearing from you. For pronunciation, just know that linking may occur. It really depends on the verb to be. I'm on the fence. She's on the fence. You're on the fence. So in that case, you may be able to link that final consonant sound with the beginning vowel sound in on. Now for a little review. I know when it comes to language learning, vocabulary per se is only one piece of the puzzle, but it's a very important piece, especially as you become more proficient. And I really hope that you learn some new expressions, but I don't expect you to remember all of them because at the end of the day, as long as you learn one or two new things and can practice them, that's going to help you take a step in the right direction. And believe me, your mistakes will become few and far between. If you would like to watch another video lesson, be my guest. And if you're on the fence, just click on one of the lessons that you see around me right now. That's all for today. I hope to see you again sooner rather than later. If you enjoyed the lesson, please hit that like button. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. So long.